Welcome everybody to Texas, the home of guns, cowboy hats, and of course, the Austin Circuit. We're here in Austin, Texas, at COTA, aka the Circuit of the Americas, for the 10th US Grand Prix, the 8th time that COTA has hosted the US Grand Prix, even after, of course, hosting the other two races in 2006 and 2007. Now, 5 teams have won here over the past 13 seasons, Ferrari winning the most, along with Mercedes, both winning 3 times. Now, 56 laps there are of this race, a circuit length of 5.513 kilometers, 20 corners, a lap record set by Armor Car in 2018 of a 1:30.678. So now we're into the last section of the season. After this, there's just 2 races left to go to see who's going to win the title. Now, previous 4 winners here have included Jay McKenzie winning here in 2015-16, one in 2017, and of course Armor Car winning here last in 2018. There are still a number of drivers within a shout of the title. Of course, Joseph Willows was the one who won the Mexican Grand Prix last time out at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. So can he keep it up? And of course, can Franco Lopez crucially get back into contention? Now, he's retired from the last 3 races in a row, having been totally and utterly dominant, and it's brought 4 other drivers back into title contention. So the big question is, can he get back onto form for this race? But we're going to take a look at the starting grid for the Grand Prix, and on the front row it is Armor Car with Franco Gamba alongside him in second place. So a much needed qualifying for Franco Gamba, that is for sure. Laura Chung on 3rd position with Franco Lopez in 4th. On row 3 we have Joseph Willows 5th for Ferrari, Nicolas Gal 6th for Red Bull Racing. That is row 3 of the grid. On row 4 we have the 2 McLarens of Paolino Tomaselli for McLaren and Kirosma De Rosa for McLaren. On row 5 we have Andrea Federi for Alfa Romeo, the very old rookie, with Evan Byrne alongside him in 10th. On row 6 we have the 2 Racing Points of George Roque and Roland Moitian. On row 7 of the grid we have Jay McKenzie for Renault and Gabriel Gomez 14th for Alfa Romeo Racing. On row 8 we have David Kupok for Toro Rosso and Jared Fosbury 16th position. On row 9 of the grid we have Matteo Catalan for Toro Rosso and Chris Chatfield for Haas, 17th and 18th places. On row 10 we have Rosetta Martinez for Manor and Felix Sontag 20th for Williams. And of course on the final row of the grid that leaves Lean Capana for Williams and Maxime Titkov for Manor in last position. So that is the grid. And so now, team news for this week is that Daniel Fraser, the current DTM Championship leader, will be promoted from DTM to drive for Haas next season. Very well deserved, that is for sure, so congratulations to him. Now, race-wise, it is going to be a wet race. It's going to be light at the start and it will get heavier as it goes on. 57% chance of rain, so this could be very interesting indeed. So let's get the show on the road. So, of course, they're starting on the intermediate tyres. You can see they're green, that's the inters. The track is pretty wet, but it still could get wetter as the 5 lights are now coming on for the US Grand Prix, and we're going to get underway right about now. And who's going to get the jump to the first corner? It looks like Carr has made a decent job, and I think Gamba's actually got a better start, and Gamba's going to take the lead into the first corner. So he takes the lead ahead, and Carr nearly gets overtaken by the Ferrari there. There's already been a damage. There's a Renault missing a front wing. George Roque is missing his rear wing, so not a good start for Roque, and it is Jay McKenzie, the 2 former teammates. They've come together a number of times this season, and they've come together yet again, so Jay McKenzie going to have to go to the pits. You can see this is the onboard of him going into the back of Roque's car there, heading in towards the first corner. So not the start that Jay McKenzie would have wanted at all. Meanwhile, the 2 Mercedes right behind each other. Franco Lopez right behind Armor Car, wanting to make some progress, trying to get past his teammate here. Lopez goes down the inside, or he tries to, but Car defends, and they almost push each other through the corner. Meanwhile, the 2 Ferraris behind were also battling with each other. Byrne has got past Federi into ninth. They're still battling on the front straight are the 2 Mercedes. Franco Lopez trying to go around the outside of Armor Car, heading down the front straight as they head in towards the next corner, and he makes it, and he's up into second position. So Carr, I think, led him through there, but that's exactly the start that Franco Lopez would have wanted. But as I said, for Frank Gamba, it's an even better start for him. As meanwhile, looking at Fosbury, who's made a pretty good start. He's moved up 4 positions. A number of drivers moved up, obviously thanks to McKenzie and Roque having that collision. They're both now at the back of the grid. So it looks like the 2 Francos are going to battle once again. Franco Gamba at the moment leading the race, and this is exactly what he needs, because of course he's still without at the moment a seat for next season. It's yet to be confirmed, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does in this one. Needs to perform very well, because there's been some doubts as to whether he'll keep the seat or not. But as he comes across the line, he will lead the first lap of the US Grand Prix, and across the line he comes with the fastest lap, a 1:40.990. But of course that lap time will get faster. Well, I say faster, it'll get slightly faster because of course, well, the track is going to get a lot wetter. So we'll see how it goes as the race goes on. Of course, it will be interesting strategy-wise, of course, because it is going to get heavier. So they're definitely not going to stay on the intermediate tyres. That is for sure. They're obviously going to change on to either the extreme wets or just the normal wets. The extreme wets, I think, are the grey tyres. Really, as Mackenzie, of course, is now in the pits, and so is Roke. They're both changing their... Well, Roke is putting a new front wing on, and Mackenzie... Roke's putting getting a rear wing on, Mackenzie sorting out his front wing. The two are a little bit mixed up there. Meanwhile, Laura Chung on the back of Amarkar. This is the battle for third place, although Carr gets a much better run out of the hairpin there. So, as now we look at the Ferraris trying to chase after. Meanwhile, Gall's in there in 6th place with the 2 McLarens just behind him as we look through the rest of the order. There's Chatfield who's moved up a few places as well. We've got a yellow flag out, and Matteo Catalan is out, and so is Sontag. So 2 cars out on lap 2, and looks like a collision there. So we're going to watch the replay and find out what happened. So this was Catalan who was behind Vidic Sontag, and we will see what happened. So Catalan tried to make a move on the inside. Was there contact originally? No. But Catalan tried to stick his nose in, and it was almost inevitable, really, that was going to happen. So Sontag is out, and so is Catalan. They take each other out, I should say, on lap 2 of the race. So the first 2 retirements of the Grand Prix. So there we are. I mean, you can see Catalan tried to stick his nose there. Was it on? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, it is what it is, really. But they're out anyway, as we're looking now at Joseph Willows all over the back of Laura Chung, and Willows going to try and make a move on the inside. And there's a bit of contact between the two, and is that going to be enough for Willows to sneak through? Yes, and shoves Chung even more wide now, and that allows Gal actually to get a good run off the corner, and he's going to try and overtake Chung coming down the back straight here. And Gal's going to attempt to do it, but I think the Ferrari's got a little bit more speed. So, unless he does a late dive bomb into the corner, would he go for it? No, he doesn't. It's the answer. We've got another yellow flag out. And, it's Kupok and Chatfield this time. So, it's a deja movement. A lap later, and 2 more cars take each other out at the same corner. So, we're going to see a replay. And it was Kupok who was behind Chris Chatfield, trying to make a move for P14. And Kupok was on the inside there of Chatfield. And there was the contact. And it's happened yet again. So, 4 cars out in the first 3 laps. So meanwhile, Gamba's still got a bit of a lead over Lopez. He's not closed up as much as I thought he would. The gap about 1.5 seconds. But that could easily change. Lopez might just be biding his time, really. Meanwhile, Amarkar in 3rd, way off the front. Look at how far he is. There's actually, Lopez has dropped way off. I think he's made a mistake there. So he had a good lap last time, but you can see he's dropped way off Gamba. So let's have a look on board with him. So it's coming through to turn 2, going through the right hand. It gets a little bit on the curb, gets a little bit on the outside curb as well. Lucky he didn't spin off there. We've seen cars go off there before, but fortunately Lopez didn't. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne is closing up to the back of De Rosa in the McLaren as they're coming down towards, coming down the back straight and in towards the hairpin as Byrne trying to make a move on the inside. Going to swap to the outside now, but he's going to fail to do it into the sharp left. But you do see moves done there, but not one completed there at the moment. Meanwhile, Moishin defending from Gomez. Gomez on the inside. Late move, but he does make it through up into 11th spot. So good move there from the Brazilian. So he moves up into 11th position. So 1 position outside of the points. It was a good move there. Good racing between the two. And Gomez makes it through. Now he's going to go after his teammate Fideri for 10th position. As we look at Frank Gamba, who's obviously extended his lead thanks to Lopez's mistake. So he need to see if he can build on that or not, because obviously he'll never have a better chance to win a race than today. Meanwhile, Laura Chung in 5th, and she's made a big mistake there. She's gone wide, but fortunately she's actually managed to keep it on the track, but she has lost a position though. She's lost a position to Nicolas Gal, so not able to well, the mistake wasn't without its faults, really. But yeah, losing a position there, goes wide, so unfortunately she has lost the position there. So down to 6th place. Meanwhile, we are now looking at Lopez, who is trying to go back after Franco Gamba in the lead. And as I said, Carr is still holding up with his car has dropped so far off the lead, and Chung has made yet another mistake. And now has dropped behind Paulino Tomaselli. So Laura Chung seems to be really struggling at this moment in time, dropping down another position going into the first corner. And so she went quite wide anyway, and then just went all over the curve, and that lost a lot of momentum. And Thomas said, "Thank you very much," and managed to make it through. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne is in the pits, so he's on the inters. Will he change? Well, he'll change tyres, but what tyres will he go on is the big question. And he's going to go onto the wet tyres, so clearly it is too wet for inters, and so they go onto the wet tyres, which, unlike real life, actually work. And so Byrne comes out of the pits, and he's going to come out down in P14, it looks like. And yes, he does. So looking at Frank Gamba, who's stuck behind actually some traffic at the moment, but actually Gamba is pitting this lap, and I imagine the fact that Byrne has come into the pits for wet tyres, that will mean that Frank Gamba is going to do the same. So he's being held up a little bit behind this Renault, but he's going to go into the pits anyway, unless this Renault actually decides to pit as well. As they're coming towards the pit entry, Gamba going to go around the outside. This could be very messy unless he gets it done. Which fortunately, oh no! And you could see that was going to happen a mile off, and somehow Gamba's not lost his rear wheel. Oh no, never mind. Well, Mackenzie is out. Oh dear me. So they actually both slipped coming into the pit entry there, but Gamba has somehow managed to get away with that. Well, managed to get away with those two incidents there, getting hit by Mackenzie. Well, I say getting hit by Mackenzie by swiping in front of Mackenzie. Then Mackenzie goes into the wall of the pit lane, so Mackenzie is out. Gamba pits and goes onto the wets. So, oh my word, that was a very interesting collision there. You could see that coming. It always happens with regards to lap traffic and the pit entry there. Just the way he's lapping, you could just see it coming so far off there. So let's have a look at the replay. So Gamba, of course, was coming out to Mackenzie with the last corners, and I was wondering, is he going to go around the outside? He should have just held it, but he pitted it, and I'm still amazed Gamba managed to get away without any damage there. And how he didn't lose his rear wheel, I don't know. And then Gamba actually goes to the wall, doesn't he? And yeah, he does. He actually goes into the wall, so it does almost the same impact that Mackenzie... Well, he does do the same impact Mackenzie did, but Mackenzie, I think, maybe went a tiny bit faster. Well, that was enough for Mackenzie to lose his wheel anyway, so he is out, and Frank Gamba can consider himself a very, very lucky man indeed, and he remains in this race. Meanwhile, George Roque trying to get past the manner of Maxime Titkov, who is certainly not making it very easy for him, but Roque does eventually make the move into the first corner and moves up into P15 on lap 15. Let's see how much progress he can make from the back. So Mackenzie, of course, is making no more. Carl at the moment still holding up Willows, and finally Willows is coming into the pits. Oh, sorry, it's Laura Chung, I should say, is coming into the pits. Had a bit of a moment there. So Laura Chung, who's had a pretty torrid race, really, so far. Not really looked like... well, she's made a number of mistakes, so she's dropped down the order a bit. So she's now onto the wet tyres, going on a long stint. So we'll see if she stays on the wets for a next stop, or if she comes in earlier, then goes on to the extreme wets. So as she comes out of the pit, she's now outside of the points. Meanwhile, Martinez is behind Jared Fosbury in the Haas, heading up towards the first corner. I don't know if Martinez is close enough to make a move. Chung comes out of the pits just ahead of Fosbury and Martinez, and also Byrne, who of course Byrne was one of the earliest guys to make a stop. So at the moment, obviously Gamba in second position. Lopez is in the lead, so we'll see how long it will be before Lopez decides to make his pit stop. So as Gamba now comes to the middle section of the lap, and so it's sure not going to be long, because what's the gap now? 25 seconds. So I mean, if Lopez pits now, it will be pretty close between him and Gamba, although it'll probably be about the same actually as when they were back on track, really, I suppose, before Lopez made that error that he did. So as a car is still holding up Willows just can't find a way past, so he's going to have to probably do it in the pits, unless he can actually do it out on the circuit, because so far nothing is working for him at this moment in time, so he's going to have to try and bide his time and make the move. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne now trying to go past Martinez down the back straight, and it looks like he's got the move done on the inside, and he is through and does get past the man, and now he'll go after Jared Fosbury just in front of him. Fosbury, his favourite driver in the series. So as we look at Gamba, I'm going through the gap, about 25.3 that says. So I don't think actually Gamba is actually gaining on Lopez at this moment in time. So I mean, if that gets any more, then Lopez has actually got a good chance of doing a big overcut on Franco Gamba. So we are going to see sooner rather than later, when Lopez decides to pit for the wet tyres, So as you look at Gamba coming down the straight, as meanwhile Carr again in third, way off. 13 seconds the gap is between him and Gamba. That's how slow I guess you could say Carr is really. Willow's still got a fair few more laps before his fuel goes out, but I imagine he'll pit probably before that. But at the moment it doesn't look like the wet tyres are working out for a number of the drivers that have gone on it. Burns quite a bit down the order, although he is now gaining on Fosbury, so maybe the wets will start now to come into their own very soon. Gamba doesn't seem to be closing on Lopez, despite the fact Lopez is... Whoa! Wow, that was close when lapping tick off there. That could have ended in disaster. That could have been Lopez's 4th retirement in a row there. Then that really would have thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. So meanwhile we're looking at Fosbury defending from Byrne, and Byrne doesn't take too kindly to him and just shoves him wide there. A little hit and run. And so Byrne is through, I think, is he? Yes, he does pass Jared Fosbury, and the manner behind there, Martin, is getting very close to the back of Fosbury. I don't think there was any contact there, but there was a slight nick from Byrne there, which is enough to put Fosbury wide and allow Byrne through up into another position, a higher position. Now, meanwhile, Lopez is now finally pitting this lap, and I imagine this is going to be for the wet tyres, and I don't know what the gap is between him and Gamba, but it was 25. It was over 25 seconds before. So we're going to find out, as I think there was another pit call as well that I just saw. As finally, it's taken him almost 20 laps, but Willows has now finally got past Armar Carr for 3rd position. Coming in towards the first corner, Willows on the inside, and this was a good move by the British driver on his fellow Brit there. It took him long enough, but finally he has done it at least, so it is better than nothing. So Willows is through and up into 3rd place. Now Lopez is in, and the gap I think is about 26 seconds, so the gap has actually increased. So Gamba doesn't seemingly have the pace or is able to get his tyres up to temperature as much. Now Lopez, who's been going on these inters for a lot longer, of course, than Gamba, this is his perfect opportunity. Well, I mean, he could do a big overcut, so he's going onto the wet tyres. So 26 seconds, that could be enough, and that was a pretty quick stop actually for a Mercedes. So I think Lopez might come out ahead of Gamba here. I don't know where Gamba is on the circuit. I think he's probably coming out to around the final corner about now, I'd say. But I think Lopez may get in front of Gamba here as he comes up the pits, and there is Gamba. This could be very close. There's Lopez, and Gamba does just get in front, but crucially Lopez has only just come out of the pits on these tyres, and he's going to be a lot quicker, and he's going to have these tyres up to temperature, and Gamba's tyres are going to be worn a lot more. Meanwhile, De Rosa, who was the other guy I saw on the panel that's coming into the pits now. So Lopez is a lot closer, and he's now got a really good chance of getting the lead of this race. So Gamba does keep the lead, but not by much. So De Rosa is now in to the pits for his, I believe his first stop of the race actually. So he will go onto the wet tyres, so he's one of the last ones who's still out on the wets. Apart from, I think, Carr and Willows, they're still going around at the moment on the intermediate tyres. So De Rosa now comes out, pretty quick stop still, 5.2, and let's see, so Willows at the moment in 3rd. He's got clear of Carr by about a second and a half almost, which is good for him, but just imagine if he'd got clear of him a lot earlier, he might have still had a small chance of being in the fight for the lead of this race. I mean, there's still a long way to go, so anything can happen. Meanwhile, De Rosa has rejoined in 10th position on the wet tyres. So, meanwhile, there's a big gaggle of cars in. This actually, sorry, I say big gaggle of cars. This is a very important gaggle of cars. This is Franco Gamba, who's trying to get past this traffic here. He's got Franco Lopez right behind him. He goes around the manner of Maxime Tikoff, and he now finally does get past him. And now Lopez is going to get past him as well. But Lopez is right here, and he's going to be on to Franco Gamba like a rash. And so as they come round onto the back straight, I wonder if Lopez is going to be closer to make a move. But as we look at Martinez at the moment in 15th, and I think is Lopez quite close enough. I think he could just about see the spray, but I don't think he's quite close enough to make a move unless he does an unbelievable dive bomb, which I don't think is going to happen, and the answer is no, it doesn't happen. But look at how much he closed in that corner there. I mean, the fresher tyres for Lopez certainly working, as the Willows and Carr are still going around, actually, interestingly, on the intermediate tyres, but as I said, they're not really gaining on the cars in front, so they might as well pit. So the gap is at only 10th. Willows extending the gap to Carr now about 4 seconds. No, well, it's about 5 actually. Looking through the rest of the order, there's Tomaselli, Federi, Gomez, Moitian, of course De Rossa is just pitted, and he's already on the back of Moitian now, the fact he's just pitted, so he could overtake him very quickly as well. Evan Byrne, meanwhile, getting a little bit out of shape there, right behind Laura Chung, who is in 11th position at this moment in time. She's having a pretty torrid race, you have to say. Down 11th, the fact she was so high up, and now she's just really struggling. She struggled for pace this race, and she's falling rapidly down the order, it seems. She's got no pace. Yeah, so she hasn't got her fade on. And, meanwhile, Lincoln Palmer has gone a little bit wide there, coming around the final corner. You can see he just was rejoining the track just as the camera switched to him. Meanwhile, Maxime Titkov has come into the pits, and he's actually gone onto the extreme wets, I think, because I think they're grey tyres. They're definitely not blue. So he has gone onto the extreme wets, so clearly he thinks the conditions are, well, they're going to get worse. Meanwhile, Roland Moich, I think, is just coming into the pits as well this lap. Lopez versus Gamba is still on, and Willows is now finally pitting for, well, I say the wet tyres, but I suppose Titkov went on the extremes, so it could even be the extreme wets actually for Willows. So it may have actually worked for him pitting this late. So we are going to see. And so, as we look now at, of course, Fosbury had just passed Martin as well. We just saw that a little bit of time ago. Tomaselli in 6th position, keeping Gal honest, who hasn't pitted either. Moichin is in, so he's down to 13th position, possibly more. But Roke at the moment is up to 12th. So I think not quite every driver has pitted yet. So we're waiting for Carr to pit. And so yeah, meanwhile Lopez still closing behind Franco Gamba at this moment in time. And so as Willows is heading towards the pits for his first pit stop, and so will he go on to the extreme wets or the normal wets is the big question. So he comes in now, and so here we go. So we're almost halfway through the race. So here we go. Willows now comes in, and of course there's another team coming in just behind him. So what tyres would he go on? Would it be the extreme wets? And no, actually it's going to be the normal wets. Oh, Carr is in as well actually. He's pitted early, he's reacted, he's gone on to the wets as well. So differing strategies in play here. And I think there was another car that came in. I think that was Federi that's just come into the pits as well. No, it wasn't Federi, it was Gomez that's just come into the pits. Federi's now offered to P5. So Willows comes out in P6. Gomez has said he's in. And so he hadn't pitted either. So here we go. Gomez comes in, and let's see if he'll go onto the wets or the extreme wets. And he goes onto the extreme wets. So there we go. And Gomez comes out of the pits in that position. Meanwhile, Byrne is on the back of Laura Chung here, trying to make a move for, this is 9th position. There's a little bit of contact between the two. Byrne is around, I think, yes, and Byrne spins. Chung keeps it on the road, but Gomez says thank you very much and takes the position there. And so Gomez will now go after Chung, but Laura Chung is just really struggling at this point in time. And Evan Byrne makes a bit of contact there with the back of Chung, and that was enough to spin him around like a record, baby. And so there we go. As now Franco Gamba comes in for another stop. This is a scheduled stop for him. So he kept the lead from Lopez, but he's going to be doing, looks like, the 3 stop. So Gamba comes in, and he goes on to the extreme wets. Okay then, so he goes on the extreme wets. So I don't know what Franco Lopez's fuel was like, so I'd be interested to see, because then we'd be able to see if he'd be doing the 2 stop or the 3. I believe he'll probably be doing the 2 stop when we see his fuel. Meanwhile, Willows on the back of Federi. This is for P5, trying to get past the Alfa Romeo. And so Willows now on the inside and does overtake Federi for 5th position. So there we go, good job there. And so he's now going to go after Tomaselli in the McLaren. Franco Gamba at the moment in 2nd position on the extreme wets. We'll see what the pace is like. At the moment, Tomaselli actually and Gal still the only ones that are going around on the intermediate tyres at this moment in time. But Gal has just been ahead of the McLarens all race. He had De Rossa kind of was close behind him before, but now it's Tomaselli, so they're still going around. So clearly they're going for the long haul. Maybe they're waiting for if it dries up towards the end or not. Well, it's not going to dry up, it's still going to be wet the whole race, but enough to put another pair of inters on is what I mean. Evan Byrne now comes in for a pair of extreme wets. So I'm pretty sure with Gal and Tomasetti still out there on the inters, they're the only drivers that are on the intermediate tyres, I believe. As Lincoln Parner tries to make a little move there on the Alfa Romeo there, but I think he's just been lapped by it, so that would not have been for position. So as we look at Martinez, who is got, we can see there's something not right with the wheel, and he's out of this race. So Rosetta Martinez will not finish his race. A suspension failure. You could see that there was something wrong with the wheel there, so he is not going to be able to finish this race. So he is out. That is the 5th retirement of the day. His car gets pushed away. So as we look at onboard with Martinez, you can see it was the front right that had a problem, and there it was. You can see there's something just not quite right about it. It's just bulging up a little bit, and that's not right. So there we go. So Martinez is out, 5th retirement of the US Grand Prix, and yeah, there we go. Meanwhile, we're looking at Franco Gamba, who at the moment is 32 seconds now actually behind Lopez. So it looks like, well, it's not working out at the moment. So if Lopez was to pit now, he'd come out comfortably ahead of Franco Gamba and could still make another stop with his pace. So it doesn't look like the change is working for Gamba, although he just doesn't seemingly have the pace. Although some drivers are just trying to find the limits of the car. Lopez is going a long way, so if he's going to stay on these normal wets and then maybe go on to another pair of normal wets, that would be very interesting to see. But it looks like Lopez is going for the 2-stopper, and so the 3-stopper for Red Bull, which on paper was actually probably a good strategy, may actually backfire for Gamba. As a moment I said, Miklos Gal was in 3rd, having not made a stop. Tomasetti still hasn't made a stop. Oh, and now they have, so it's a pit stop battle actually between Gal and Tomasetti. Federi actually is the only other one who's yet to make a stop as well. So those guys are doing quite a good job, you have to say. So as we look at Gamba coming through the S's, but Gal is in, and so is Tomasetti for their first stop. So I wonder if they'll go on to the extreme wets or the normal wets, and hopefully the cameraman or the race director will show what tyres they'll go on. Although if not, we'll just find out anyway. Oh, and Federi has actually now come in as well. So he's decided to make a stop. Lincoln Parner is in too, so a number of cars in on the same lap. Franco Lopez, as we're seeing, in a comfortable lead. Carr is in, so is De Rossa, and so is Chung. They're all in. Oh, and Carr is in as well. So, no, sorry, Lopez in. Lopez is in as well. So a number of drivers making stops this lap. So maybe this might be to the extreme wet tyres. So, as I said, well, for Lopez it doesn't matter because it looks like he's still, well, he is going to come out comfortably in the lead anyway. So as you look at Lopez coming into the pits right now, and so I would imagine he's going to go onto the extreme wet tyres. So as we see him come in, changes all 4. Would he go to the end? The answer is no, actually. He doesn't go to the end, so you thought they might have tried to fuel him to the end, but he will go, and he'll still come out ahead of Gamba, so he doesn't need to worry, actually, because he'll still come ahead of Gamba, and they'll both be making one more stop, so it kind of works out for Mercedes in a way. So no need to do anything rash. So Ronan Moish is in as well. I think that was Jared Fosbury is in. A number of drivers coming in. So Lopez, as I said, comes out still in the lead of this race. And now everyone is now on the extreme wet tyres, or at least most are. Willows actually is now going to go onto the extreme wets. So yeah, it looks like the extreme wets are the way to go. So Willows comes into the pits. So Gal, I would imagine, is going to come in and pick for a pair of extreme wets too. So what's the gap between 23 points? If Gal stays out, he'll come out ahead of Willows, but surely Gal will come in. I don't see him being able to stay out for much longer on those intermediate tyres, but we will find out very soon. And so as Willows changes and goes on to the extreme wets, no surprise. And so let's see if Gal comes into the pits this lap as well. It'd be silly not to. But no, he actually continues. No, he was already on the extreme wets. Oh no, so he must have pitted already, I guess. Yeah, he and Thomas said he pitted already. My bad. But so Gal has actually is now up to P3. Willows is down to P5, so that's not really worked out for him very well. Joseph Willows. So now he's got to get past both Tomaselli and Gal. So actually, Palin and Tomaselli is legitimately in with a shout of the podium here. So good job by Tomaselli. Meanwhile, the two Alfa Romeos are in a battle for P6 and 7. They're both doing decent jobs as well. So a number of good performances on show for Armagh Car. He's down in 8th, so it's not worked out well for him at all. Moichin is going to come into the pits and be one of the last ones onto the intermediates. Franco Gamba is going to come into the pits. Oh, he's got damage. Oh, that's why. I was wondering, I was like, hang on, he's already on the extreme wet. So this was lapping another car here. So coming through, and a little bit of contact there, and that spins the Force India around and round like your favourite Eminem song. I should correct it. So Gamba then tried to lap Moichin, and then Moichin was spinning like a record baby, and then Gamba, who should have tried to go around the outside like Eminem's favourite song, but failed. And so the incident between those two will be under investigation, and that may have just given Franco Lopez free reign at the victory. So I think Gamba was well clear of Gal in 3rd place. I don't think he needs to worry about him. But for Franco Lopez, that's exactly what he needed. So the gap about 36 seconds. So Gamba will still come out ahead of Nicholas Gal in 2nd position. So that's important for him. But a mistake, or an unnecessary mistake, for Franco Gamba, which has eliminated any chance of him winning this race. And that doesn't help. He's had to wait for Moichin to go by as well. That will infuriate him even more, you have to say. So Gamba comes out of the pits on another pair of extreme wets, and he won't go to the end. He'll pit once more anyway. Gal's just coming down the front straight now, but Gamba crucially will come out ahead and still stay in 2nd place. But Lopez is going to have a very, very, very large lead at the front. Meanwhile, we're looking at Vern, who is once again still trying to get after Laura Chung for 10th place. Just a few seconds away is Chung, but George Roke behind Byrne in 12th. Fosbury 13th. Titkoff at the moment in 14th. Meanwhile, Roland Moichin making a little bit of contact there with the manner of Titkoff, and he spins going into the first corner. And so now he does rejoin, but loses a lot of time. Oh, and then goes wide as the Alfa Romeo, the two Alfa Romeos, I should say, Fideri and Gomez lap him there. So that was on nearly being in the wrong place at the wrong time there for Rella Moichin. And so, yeah, no position, a lot of time unnecessarily lost there. Meanwhile, Tomaselli, who's been on the back of Gal ever since the last stop and not able to make a move. Willows, again, is just lurking in the distance between the two. He has to get past these two on track if he wants to get the podium from this race. Meanwhile, Armagh Car is trying to pass Andrea Federi for P7, and he is through and moves up into 7th. Meanwhile, Moichin does finally pass Maxime Titkoff for 14th position, but Carr is also going to have to do some overtaking on the circuit as well. And so and Willows is now in again, of course, so this will be his last stop of the race. And so I don't think he wasn't actually able to get past Gal and Tomaselli, so this is an important stop for him. I don't know if Gal and Tomaselli are going to the end or not, but if not, then Willows has got his work cut out if he wants to get a podium out of this race. And of course, it's not good at the moment that his main title rival, Franco Lopez, is leading this race. So he comes out of the pits, and it looks like he's still going to come out in P5. So out of the pits he comes, and no, actually drops behind. He drops. That's not good. That's not good when he drops behind Carr and the two Alfa Romeos. So that's not good as well. Meanwhile, Franco Lopez is cruising out front at this moment in time. So as the Carr in an Alfa Romeo sandwich, Tomaselli now really all over the back of Nicholas Gal. Yes, actually, so Tomaselli is going to the end. I don't know about Gal in front, if he's going to the end or not, but Tomaselli is. So if Gal isn't, then Tomaselli is going to get the podium at this point in time. So I'd be interested to see, I'd be hoping we could see Gal's fuel. But at the moment, as I said, this is still the battle for P3, as Tomaselli's been all over the back of Gal since last stop, unable to make the move past him, but maybe he knows if Gal has to pit or not. And so looking at a replay here of Tomaselli and Gal there. I'm not quite sure what that replay was about, to be honest. Didn't look like anything was wrong there, but hey-ho. And no, Gal is going to the end, so this is a legitimate battle for position for P3. So Lopez is obviously going to pit once more before the end, but he's got a huge gap over. And Evan Byrne has gone wide, coming through. Yes, there he goes a bit over the curves. Losing a lot of time now. George Roke is going to close up on him. He was trying to chase after Chung, finally actually caught up to Laura Chung, and then unfortunately for Byrne, as soon as he catches up to her, makes a mistake, and then that allows George Roke behind to catch up, so it's not something he'll be very happy with. So yeah, So Gallon said Thomas Lee are going to the end. I don't know if Federi is going to the end or not. I couldn't quite see if it flashed a bit too quickly there. Willows does get back past Gabriel Gomez up into 7th. Carr, meanwhile, is trying to attack Andrea Federi for 5th position here. He's, I think, just about in the slipstream, or I should say the spray of the car in front of him, Federi. And no, Federi is going to the end. So again, another battle for position. So, and I don't think, I think there was Gomez, I think, is not going to the end. There was a car on the pits there. It was a Renault. Franco Lopez obviously is pitting this lap. So he's got a lot of trouble. He's actually coming up to this battle for P5 at this moment in time, Lopez, so he needs to be careful. So he's about to lap Gabriel Gomez, and so he's about to go past him on the straight here. It's now pretty... Oh, my word. I don't know why Lopez then went out, then went back in, then went out there. In, out, and shaking it all about. And so he went out and then went back in. I don't know, you need to get back out there, Lopez. So a very interesting movement there from Lopez. I mean, Gomez didn't change the line at all, so a bit confusing. But Lopez comes in, again, a very quick stop, 5 seconds, and he is going to be out on his way to what looks like a victory. And so we're looking now at the Red Bull of Franco Gamba, who is in a very lonely second. He's way ahead of Nicolas Gal, so it looks like he's going to have a very easy P2. I mean, would he have had a chance of winning this race if he hadn't had that collision with Moichin? I don't know. I don't think he would have done, to be really honest. And oh no! Oh my word! And Willows has just become a bowling ball and has just taken Carr out, and I think has taken Federi with him as well. He gets a strike, and so Carr is out. And with Carr being out, that is his. I don't think he had a chance of a title anyway. But he is out of this race, and Federi, who is doing so well, is out too. And Willows is going to have to pit, I think, for a new front wing. Well, actually, no, I don't think he actually got damaged, Willows. But, wow, let's have a look at that again. But Willows, who was trying to get up the inside of Carr for 6th position, and Carr himself, who was trying to get past Federi. Well, no, actually, Carr was nowhere near a move. And then, unfortunately, Willows just goes into Carr. And then that launches Carr into Federi. And Federi, you really got to feel sorry for him. He was in within a great shout of a top 5, and now he's going to get nothing from this race thanks to a very silly error from Willows. So for Willows, he moves up 2 positions, but he's still way behind Franco Lopez in the order at the moment in time, and of course Lopez will extend his lead in the championship. And unfortunately Federi, a completely innocent factor, and he is going to be fuming when he sees the footage and sees what happened and the way that he has been taken out of this race. But as we look at the replay of Willows and Carr yet again, said Willows was braking into the corner. You could say Carr had moved over, and Willows again just had nowhere to go. So again, I think an unfortunate incident. I don't think a penalty would be given for that one. I think it was just an unfortunate racing incident, really. So as we look at the collision, there was the contact, and of course Carr missing his front right and Federi missing his rear left. And so Willows does take those 2 positions gladly and moves up into 5th spot. So, I mean, yeah, you could say, I suppose, Carr, looking from that angle, actually does move over on Willows. And then, of course, Willows had nowhere to go. So, I mean, yeah, I could probably say 60-40 to Carr, really, there, fault-wise. And, again, just the collision there. There was the hit that he didn't want. And so Willows will get P5. He's way off, actually, Tomaselli and Gauss. So there's going to be no chance for him to get top 4 from this race. I mean, it's all actually gone pretty well, you have to say, looking at the order now for Franco Lopez. As long as he keeps it on track, it looks like he's going to get victory and extend his lead in the championship. So looking at the replay, I think a little bit unnecessary here for another go. But again, I think Carr does move over on Willows. And yeah, just again, there was the contact on Carr. And then, obviously, in Federi's rear mirror, he sees a Mercedes coming, hurtling towards him, and then takes him out. And I think we've seen enough of this replay of this incident, really. But yeah, it's almost a bit like the whole Hamilton-Verstappen thing in real life. We've seen so many clips of that in the races. So, I mean, yeah, what can you say about that? So Willis does take the 2 positions there, and the incident between the 2 will be under investigation. Well, these between the 3, I should say, will be under investigation. Right, so we'll find out what happens with that. I think, again, that will be put as a racing incident, and I think, again, Carl will probably get a little bit more blame for that one than Willows will. But as we see, Franco Gamba is now in the pits for his final stop, and of course he stays on the extreme wets. And Renault has received a 10-second time penalty for causing the incident with car number 8, Franco Gamba. So that time, of course, will be added on to his race time at the end of the race. So Gamba comes out of the pits, it's 5.1. Gomez comes out from his last stop. And interestingly, Gomez has gone on to the normal wets. So, yeah, we'll see how Gomez does. He's still in the points anyway, so we'll see if he can recover any more positions. But we'll see how that works out for him there. Gamba said in second position, way behind Lopez at this moment in time. Willows in P5. He's 23 seconds, almost a pit stop behind Tomaselli, so I don't see him catching up to him. Mojin is in for his last pit stop of the race. Meanwhile, this is Franco Lopez trying to go past some traffic here. De Rosa under pressure from Lopez there. It gets very, very close between the two. Lopez doesn't need to do anything stupid here because he's in the lead comfortably. That was very close there. It could have gone badly wrong for Lopez. Unfortunately, it doesn't. He's had a couple of close encounters. I mean, if he didn't steer all the way to the left there, put his steering input all the way to the left, then yeah, that could have gone badly wrong. Fortunately, it didn't, and so Lopez manages to lap De Rosa, although that was a very scary moment for him there. But Gal at the moment still holding off Tomaselli for third place at this moment in time, and he's actually got a little bit of a gap to him now. And whoa, Tomaselli does a nice little slide there, Tokyo Drift through the S's there, but that's not going to help him. As I said, he's been stuck behind Gal, and he's just not been able to get close enough, and now he's going to lose more time. But Tomaselli again has had a very solid race on the same strategy as Gal, followed him throughout the race, and it's actually worked out very well for him. Meanwhile, Miguel Gal is now going through some traffic. It looks like he's going to lap, which is the manner of Maxime Titkov heading in towards the first corner, and which he does. So, there's contact between the two as Titkov tries to unlap himself back there past Gal, but unable to do so. So that could have gone badly wrong for Gal. Fortunately, it didn't. Meanwhile, Laura Chung is coming in for a stop with just 5 laps to go, and wow, has it been a terrible race for her. She was running in 8th, but now she is down even more positions, so she's down to 9th now. Might even be 10th possibly, but for Laura Chung, it's been just had no pace whatsoever. She's on the wet tyres, so she may be quick at the end, but it's going to be of no use really. So she's actually now down to 10th, so she's behind Byrne, so it could be a really... Fosbury is in 11th, but it looks like Chung will come out in 10th, well, hopefully. Anyway, meanwhile, this is Tomaselli, who's now actually on the back of Gal. He's actually caught back up to Gal. This is about a third position. Tomaselli going to try and make a move on the inside, is he? And this could get very close. Oh, there's contact! And Gal is wide. Is Tomaselli going to get through? And yes, he is! And Tomaselli gets through up into third position, and what a race it has been for the Italian. He's put in some stunning performances this season, has Tomaselli, and you can say it's unfortunate the way it happened there, contact between the two, but he caught back up to Gal. He lost ground, and actually with that mistake I thought that was going to be it, but no, Tomaselli caught back up and managed to overtake Miklas Gal for third position. So fair play to Tomaselli. Looks like he's going to get himself a podium for McLaren. But as we look now at George Roque, who's under pressure from Gabriel Gomez, this is for P7. Gomez on the inside on the wet tyres, and they seem to be quick at the end of the race. So actually for those on the wets, it's worked out pretty well for them. So Gomez manages to get up into 7th position, but for Roque it was still pretty good recovery though, up to 8th position. But meanwhile, we're looking at your race leader, Franco Lopez. And, well, it's gone as well as it could have gone for him really today. And managed to do over his fellow Franco on the strategy, and I still think, as we see actually the incident between Carr, Federi and Willows glued to be racing against it, no surprise there. I still think even without that incident that Gamba had, I still think Lopez would have won this race. I think he had the pace over Franco Gamba, so I still think he would have won it. But of course, crucially for Franco Lopez, after all the bad luck he had in the last 3 races, he's finally going to get back into winning race and take one step closer to the title. Of course, with Willows down in 5th position, Carr is, of course, out. Laura Chung is way down the points, and I'm pretty sure if Laura Chung's down in 10th, there's no way she's going to be in contention. Miklas Gal, fortunately, is actually in 4th, but it could have been 3rd, and so for Lopez, it really couldn't have gone any better for him. So he's going to be very happy that Tomaselli got past Gal for 3rd position towards the end of the race. But we are looking at Franco Lopez, who has, you could say, I suppose you could say dominate this race. He hasn't dominated it, but on strategy-wise, he has outfoxed everyone today. And the Argentinian is going to come around the final corner for the 56th and the final time. And Franco Lopez is going to win the US Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas and take one step closer towards winning that title. And he wins. And so that is that as far as we are concerned. Lin Capana is going to finish last in 14th. Meanwhile, De Rosa in 6th and has Gomez right behind him. Gomez very quick on those wet tyres. Could he possibly make a late move on De Rosa round the final corner? Look how much quicker that Gomez is. The wet tyres at the end of this race really working out very well. And just imagine if the race was a lot longer. Gomez could have maybe got 6th unless he tries to get it on the line. Is he going to try and make a move into the final corner? Nope. De Rosa is wise to that. But Gomez might get a good run out of the corner, and oh, he goes wide. And oh, is that, no, not quite enough. I don't think it's, unless Gomez is going to get a run to the line. Is he going to go for it to the line? And De Rosa just holds off Gomez for P6. And Fosbury comes across the line in 11th. Frank Gamba will get P2. He'll be very happy with that. Roque, a good recovery as well, you have to say, from to 8th position, considering the fact he was at the back of the grid at the start, obviously after the collision. Evan Byrne in 9th position. Laura Chung. Very poor race from her in 10th position, but Paolino Tomaselli, what a performance he's put in. He was one of the last guys to go into the pits on the intermediate tyres. He struck it out and it has worked wonders for him, and having been stuck behind Gal almost the entire second half of the race, he finally made his move and he will take a podium for McLaren. He will be very happy with that, and Tomaselli himself has had a fantastic season as he comes around the final corner, and he will take 3rd position for McLaren. He'll be very, very happy with that, and so will McLaren as well. And Miklos Gal will be a bit frustrated to lose out on 3rd position there, and considering the fact, of course, he needs all the points he needs in the championship. So Joseph Willows now comes across the line. He'll take 5th, not particularly his race really, and of course he was the cause of that collision between Carr and Federi. So yeah, as Titkoff has come across the line in 13th. So that is the race done. So we'll take a look at the full race results, drivers and constructor standings. So of course Franco Lopez winning the race, and crucially as well taking the fastest lap point too. So well done to him. Franco Gamba 2nd, Paolino Tomaselli in 3rd, Miklos Gal in 4th, Joseph Williams 5th, Carossi De Rosa 6th, Gabriel Gomez 7th, George Roque in 8th, Evan Byrne 9th, and Laura Chung in 10th position. The last car to get the point. Jared Fosbury in 11th, Roland Moich in 12th. He stayed 12th despite that 10-second penalty. Maxime Titkoff 13th, Lin Capana in 14th. And the following drivers all retire from this race: Andrea Federi, Omar Carr, Rosetta Martinez, Jamie McKenzie, David Kubok, Chris Chatfield, Felix Sontag, and Matteo Catalan, all retiring from this race. So now we'll take a look at the driver standings. And here we go. And Franco Lopez now has, by my calculations, a 34-point lead over Joseph Williams and Miklos Gal, with Laura Chung now out of the title race. Omar Carr in 5th, Franco Gamba 6th, Tomaselli staying in 7th position, Catalan, Byrne and De Rosa completing the rest of the top 10, very close there. Other movements including Gabriel Gomez moving above Roland Moichin into 12th position, Roque just now on the same points as Moichin in 14th position, Chatfield, McKenzie, Kubok, Sontag, Titkoff, Fosbury, Campana and Marthez completing the rest of the standings. So now we'll take a look at the constructor standings. So Mercedes now move back ahead of Ferrari by just 4 points. That is going to go all the way down to the wire, it looks like, in Brazil. Red Bull still have a very slim chance of winning it in 3rd. McLaren strengthening their hold on 4th. Alfa Romeo moving above Renault into 6th. Racing Point moving above Toro Rosso into 7th, with Haas, Williams and Manor completing the rest of the order. But the driver day was given to Paolino Tomaselli, no surprise, for a fantastic performance to get that 3rd place. So yeah, that was the US Grand Prix at Texas. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was a pretty good race actually. It always is at Texas. Don't forget to check out all our links in the description. Check out our Twitter, join our Discord, check out our Wiki. Don't forget to give the video a like as well. Thanks for watching everybody, and we'll see you for the next round, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the Yas Marina circuit, where Franco Lopez has an opportunity to win the title. So thanks for watching, and we will see you there.